If you're a woman suffering from recurrent urinary tract infections, then this video is definitely for you. Hello, I'm Dr. James Bogash, publisher of Modern Health Myths, and today we're going to talk about a study looking at D-Mannose versus even antibiotics for preventing recurrent urinary tract infections. The standard medical approach to urinary tract infections is to use antibiotics, unfortunately often broad spectrum. And then for women who have recurrent urinary tract infections, ongoing antibiotics are usually given. You understand very well my queasiness with any course of antibiotics, let alone a recurrent course and a consistent course of antibiotics. These absolutely disrupt and destroy your own protective microbiome, the bacteria and everything that live within you, and it takes years to recover when you're actually living a lifestyle to support the recovery. If you're just taking antibiotics and willy-nilly hoping it's going to come back, it's not going to. So one of the things before we go into the results of the study is to understand that the urinary tract is not sterile. We thought that for a long time, but then we really started to realize that just like the gut and the respiratory tract and our skin, our urinary tracts are not sterile. We have bacteria growing within them, and just like everywhere else, we want healthy bacteria growing and not unhealthy bacteria growing, which I think is what becomes the problem with recurrent urinary tract infections. Cranberry juice for a long time has had some pretty decent evidence behind it for helping with urinary tract infections, but it may actually be the D-Mannose, the sugar in cranberry juice, that does the work. D-Mannose is a sugar alcohol. It's absorbed, but it's not well used by our body, so it shows up in the urine. And there's every indication that what D-Mannose does is it changes the flora, the bacterial makeup of the urinary tract infection to make it more protective. We used to think that years ago D-Mannose would attach to the E. coli and then they would just get washed out, but I don't think that's the way we're thinking anymore. I think we're looking at D-Mannose as actually feeding classes of bacteria that we want growing in our urinary tract and bacteria that do not cause urinary tract infections as we typically know them. So for years I've recommended D-Mannose and actually probiotic douches, which sounds a little weird, but for a lot of urinary tract infections actually come from are caused by E. coli, and E. coli can actually come from, it's a nasty little topic, it's translocation from the GI tract to the vaginal vault. So when we have E. coli, then it's close to the urethra. However, if we have a good, healthy balance of protective bacteria like lactobacillus and acidophilus in the vaginal vault, we're talking about women, in the vaginal vault, obviously, the E. coli has less of a chance to make it to the urethra and create an infection. Unfortunately, antibiotics absolutely wipe that out, which is why so many women get yeast infections after antibiotic treatment, is because you've destroyed the protective flora. So probiotic douches combined with D-Mannose has been highly successful in the patients that have tried that in coming through our office. So looking at this particular study, which again would support what I've recommended for 20 years now, researchers looked at multiple studies, and they found that when compared against placebo, D-Mannose reduced the risk of recurrent urinary tract infections by 77%. That's pretty substantial. But then, when they compared it against recurrent antibiotics, it was 61% better. Lowered the risk of recurrent urinary tract infections over antibiotics by 61%. Like, that's pretty powerful for something that probably builds your flora instead of destroying it. And I would suggest that if we looked at correcting the bacterial balance in the vaginal vault, that we can wipe those out altogether. So as always, I'll post a link to this particular study in the comments section. Make sure you like this video, share it with somebody who you think needs the information, and remember to subscribe to the channel.